In Caecilius' time, Pompeians would occasionally take a visit to the baths around midday. A great portion of Pompeians did not have a bathroom in their house. The baths were a public space where anyone could visit and was normally used as a place where one could exercise, socialize, and of course keep clean. Once you entered, you'd transition into a variety of different sectors with different purposes which helped with refreshment and cleaning.
Bathrooms as we know them today were nothing like the Roman baths. On arrival, you would pay a small admission fee to the doorkeeper and then head to the palaestra, which is an open space surrounded by a colonnade. Here you could greet friends and take part in many different trivial activities like wrestling, fencing and more. These activities were meant to prepare people for the upcoming experiences. After spending time in the palaestra, you would enter the apoditrium via a passage. The apoditrium was a large hall where you would undress and give your clothing to an attendant who would order the clothes in a recess along a wall. After changing, you would commence the first of the main bath preparation.
After departing from the apoditerium, you would pass an arched doorway into the tepidarium. This was a heated, warm room with benches round a wall where you could sit down and relax in a warm, steamy climate and perspire in order to prepare for even hotter temperatures in the caldarium. The caldarium was a hot room that had a large marble bath of hot water that was the full width of the room at the end. This was where people bathed and relished the intense heat. After bathing, if you brought your own oil for massaging, you would summon a slave to rub it onto your skin, and then the slave would use a blunt metal scraper called a strigil to remove dirt from the skin. After this, a masseur would come and then start to massage you. Once finished with the massaging and skin treatment, you would head to a large stone basin at the other end of the room where you can briefly rinse in cold water. Before changing back to your clothes in the apoditerium, you could also choose to go to the frigidarium where you could spend some time refreshing in an unheated, deep, circular pool and then dry with your towel, concluding with the experience.
You might wonder how the bath works in Romans' times. The first heating system was created by the Romans, and it worked with a furnace being placed below a floor that was supported on brick piles, which helped with the heated air circulation. The furnace would create hot air that would heat the floor of the bath, causing the temperatures in the water and room to rise. After this, the Romans added flues and rules where hot air from the furnace could rise to create a well-heated atmosphere. The invention was known as the hypocaust. It was also used in affluent houses.
Roman baths were a leisurely place to visit any time, but it seemed to be a very different matter for those who lived near the baths. Seneca, a Pompeian who lived very close to the bath, described his experiences with much contrast to those who visited the baths. He said he felt he was almost surrounded by uproar consisting of a plethora of sounds he would hear, including the grunts of athletes, the noises of massagers rubbing, a thief or brawler getting arrested below, and much more. The overall gist of Seneca's message was that there was constant noise and clamour, which would have been very unpleasant. It proved how the baths weren't fun or convenient for everyone in the Roman times.
The Roman baths were very different from like they are today and were used for a multitude more purposes. Unlike how bathrooms are today, being a private space, the Roman baths were hugely social and were not just used for cleaning yourself. Because of this, the palaestra was an area specifically dedicated to meeting friends and participating in sporty activities. Afterwards, a visitor would warm themselves in the apoditerium, which was much like a spa today, before descending into the high temperatures of the caldarium, where a slave would wipe you down with oils and you would bathe. In advance of heading back to the palaestra, one would enter the frigidarium, essentially a cold plunge pool. Though, as previously mentioned, the baths were not a leisurely place for some, and people living locally would often be disturbed by the shouts and uproars coming from the palaestra. To conclude, it was not a place of just cleaning, but socialising and exercising too. This takes us to the end of our documentary. We hope you have enjoyed it.